Well, thank you. Good afternoon. Thank you all for joining us. Today I'm pleased to be joined by Serge Dedina, who is the mayor of Imperial Beach. Also here is James Gartland, the San Diego Division Lifeguard Chief. We're also going to hear video messages from Catherine Blakespear, who is the mayor of Encinitas, and Matt Hall, mayor of Carlsbad. We continue to speak about how important the month of April is for San Diegans to continue to do a good job to bend the curve. And it is absolutely critical that the decisions, we move forward as not only just a city, but a region, are data-driven, informed by our public health objectives, that are not guided by politics or emotions. We are, as I mentioned yesterday, starting to see light at the end of the tunnel. That's a good thing. That is a reflection of the hard work that San Diegans and folks from all over their county are doing, following the stay-at-home orders, following the social distancing. The work that you're doing every single day is having a real impact of where we are in that curve and how we get over it sooner rather than later. That is why, as I think many of you know, we began a phased and a coordinated and safe approach that includes our whole region. It started, of course, with the reopening of our neighborhood parks just a couple of days ago for passive use. This is day 2, and I can tell you the response has been incredibly positive. People get it. They're out there following the rules in the parks. Thank you. It's important that we continue to get it. It's important that we continue to do the right things in these parks with our social distancing and following all of the protocols. That's what's going to keep us healthy, that's what's going to keep us safe, and that's what is going to allow us to do other things in our public spaces. More on that in just a bit. Today I'm going to provide an update on a couple of topics. First, a regional plan developed by lifeguards region-wide for how, not when, but how we will eventually and safely reopen beaches and bays. Second, an update on our continuing efforts to protect the homeless. And third, our ongoing efforts, as I do every day, to really highlight San Diegans who continue to step up in this time of great need. First topic, a regional coordination to reopen water access and beach access. As I mentioned last week when we were talking about the planning for parks and reopening up our economy, we have been working on a public safety focused plan for the region's beaches. Not just the city of San Diego, but all of our coastal cities. We are preparing for the how, not the when we eventually reopen beaches and bays. So we are putting forward a region-wide plan. And this plan was developed by the men and women that are out there on our beaches keeping us safe, all of our lifeguards, for the safe reopening of beaches and bays at a date to be determined. And big shout out to, you're going to hear from Chief Gartland here of our lifeguards, all of our coastal cities participated, all of their lifeguard captains and chiefs. It was important that we work on this unanimously, and we did. I also want to thank all of the coastal city mayors. Mayor Dedina of Imperial Beach, Mayor Salas, Chula Vista, Mayor Edson Solana Beach, Mayor Blakespear from Encinitas, Mayor Matt Hall from Carlsbad, Mayor Haviland from Del Mar, Mayor Bailey from Coronado, Mayor Sotelo Solis from National City, and Mayor Weiss from Oceanside, and representatives from the County of San Diego, the state parks, and the Port of San Diego. We set very clear goals. Number one, how do we do this safely? Two, this would not go into effect until the county public health is ready to open up water access and provides that direction. That's when this plan will go into effect. And this will be based on health, and it will be based on data. Secondly, we do it regionally, not different cities at different times. All cities will have started preparing for the same time and implementing these protocols together. I think also important that it's be done smartly and developed by the men and women that are our lifeguard and public safety professionals. It has been unanimously approved by that group. That includes lifeguards from the city of San Diego, the U.S. Coast Guard, and as I said, all of the cities up and down the coastal group. They've been working very hard over the last week and a half. really to develop a plan that makes sense. So I'm going to break it down. As I said, this is a regionally focused plan. I want to again reiterate, this is about the how we do it for every city on all of our beaches, not the when at this point. This plan will go into effect when the county lifts the ban on water access, and that decision is going to be made, and rightfully so, by the county based upon public health information. We are strongly in support of that. We're going to do this in a way where we offer safe access to the beaches and the water. And so this plan will include the requirement of physical distancing. It will be specific plans developed by each agency. We'll talk about face coverings being recommended, and it's going to be incredibly important. Phase 1, the limited access phase, I'm going to talk about the 2 phases. Restore lifeguard staffing for observation, education, and rescues in anticipation of reopening. Also part of phase 1, open the beaches and bays and shorelines to walking and running only. No gatherings on the beaches. That means no stopping, standing, sitting, or lying down. Open the San Diego Bay and Mission Bay to boating and single-person paddling only was the recommendations from our lifeguards. And the ocean would be opened up for all recreation uses once that order, of course, is given. Fiesta Island piers, boardwalks, and parking lots would remain closed in the first phase. Phase 2, which gets us into focused and responsible public use, we would open all beaches to all activities that can be conducted while maintaining physical distancing. Open San Diego Bay and Mission Bay to all water uses, including fishing, swimming, and paddling. Opening up Fiesta Island and opening up piers, boardwalks, and parking lots. Again, the go button on all of this is once we receive guidance from our county public health officials. This is the how, and that will be the when. And of course, the option to reserve to peel back or dial that down to protect the public on any of these phases if necessary. In the meantime, all of my fellow mayors and all of our lifeguards are asking everyone to continue to do what you're doing and remain patient. This approach is done with the public safety in mind, not to be rushed, to make sure we're guided by public health and guided by our public safety professionals. Again, I want to thank all of our lifeguards, all of my fellow mayors, to have a plan that is ready to go, a plan that the region can get behind. And with that, I'd like to introduce my fellow mayor and someone who knows a lot about getting out on the beach and out in the water, Mayor Serge Dedina of Imperial Beach. Mayor Dedina, welcome.
Thanks, Mayor Faulconer. You know, someone who worked 12 years as a beach lifeguard and is a proud beach mayor and the dad of 2 State of California ocean lifeguards. I really understand the importance of working with our professional lifeguards. The best ocean lifeguards, the best trained ocean lifeguards in the world in San Diego County. We're lucky to have them, and we're lucky that they're working with coastal city mayors, especially under the leadership of Mayor Faulconer and the City of San Diego Lifeguard Chief James Gardland, to develop a plan that will work, right? And coastal mayors are committed to being ready for this once guidance from our county public health officials is given to open up water access. Coastal mayors agree that the approach must be safe and responsible. We need to balance public health and public safety first and foremost. We all agree, 100% agreement, that the approach must be data-driven, be informed by public health objectives, and not be guided by politics or emotions. And I'd like to thank all the residents of San Diego County for following the stay-at-home orders in place, rocking our masks, and practicing physical distancing. The more we do that, the more we continue a downward curve, the sooner we can get outside and onto our beaches. And on this Earth Day, I think it's appropriate that we're talking about why we love beaches so much and why we're going to continue practicing the stay-home orders, our physical distancing, and rocking the masks so we can once again get back to the beach, the place that we all love so much in San Diego. So thanks to Mayor Faulconer, thanks to all our coastal city mayors, but especially our professional lifeguards. When you get back to the beach, thank our lifeguards. Better yet, maybe in the future, feed the lifeguards. They love that. So anyway, with that, I'll turn it over to Mayor Faulconer.
Thank you, Serge. And next, as I mentioned, we have some video remote remarks from some other of our fellow mayors. First up is Mayor Catherine Blakespear from the city of Encinitas.
Hello, I'm Catherine Blakespear, the mayor in the city of Encinitas. Today, I'm pleased to announce my support for the phased, data-driven approach being proposed by the mayors of coastal cities in San Diego County. The lifeguards and enforcement agencies from 11 different jurisdictions met yesterday to discuss and unanimously support these guidelines. They ensure both the protection of public health and the ability to responsibly recreate along our coastline. When the county's health department determines that the time is right, all of the coastal jurisdictions, including the Encinitas beaches, will open at the same time for solo water activities. These include surfing and swimming, and for exercising on the beach, including walking and running. With each city responsible for ensuring physical distancing, it's incumbent upon each one of us to avoid crowding and to follow the guidelines established. Every coastal city acting together will avoid any one beach or surf spot being overrun with a flood of people. Acting together, we can reduce the chances for a spike in coronavirus cases with the opening of our coastline. I'm happy to support these reasoned regulations that were developed by professionals, and I look forward to the time when we can all safely recreate at our coast again.
Thank you, Mayor Blakespear, for all of your good work on this. Next up, as I mentioned, we do have another remote video from the mayor of Carlsbad, Matt Hall. And Matt, thank you for all of your help and support.
I'd like to begin by thanking Mayor Faulconer for bringing us together. Coastal mayors are committed to being ready once guidance from our county public health officials is given to open up water access. Coastal mayors agree that the approach must be reasonable, safe, and responsible. We all agree that the approach must be data-driven, be informed by public health officials, and not be guided by politics or emotions. I'd like to thank all residents for following that stay-at-home rule, and together we'll make a difference.
Thank you, Mayor Hall, and again to all of our coastal city mayors for all of their hard work. But the real work on this, as I said from the very beginning, was let's develop a plan that will protect the public, but protect our lifeguards. Those are our public safety folks that are out there protecting us, and do a phasing that makes sense for them. The gentleman that took the lead on that was our San Diego Lifeguard Division Chief, Chief James Gartland. James, thank you for all of your help. Thank you for the work that you did with all of our lifeguard agencies up and down the coast. Please come up and say a few words.
Thank you. As San Diegans know, at this time of year we add seasonal or part-time lifeguards to our staff to handle the increased number of visitors at our beaches. In addition to the standard training they typically receive each year, seasonal lifeguards received an additional training and PPE related to the pandemic. Even though the beaches are closed, many of our seasonal lifeguards have been assisting the city in other areas. As the public health situation in San Diego develops, lifeguard agencies are preparing for a two-phase approach to reopen our beautiful beaches. On April 21, representatives from all of the county's lifeguard agencies, County Health, the San Diego Harbor Police Department, and Camp Pendleton Lifeguards and the U.S. Coast Guard met and created a comprehensive plan to once again allow the public to access and use our beaches along the coast. The plan is about the how, it's not about the when. Plans were put to a vote and all agencies unanimously voted to move ahead with it. I want to thank all the lifeguard chiefs and captains of the county that has developed and supported this plan. The details of the reopening plan will be included in the mayor's news release today. Essentially, lifeguard agencies in our county are prepared for this event. We are prepared for the opening. We look forward to educating the public on the plan. So what we would tell you is hold on. We're almost there. We want you to stay put, and we are ready. When the time comes, we will open the beaches safely. Our priority will continue to be safety of the public, safety of the beaches, and safety of our lifeguards that are out there working hard for you. As with any other time of the year, our safety message is the same. When the beach is open, please check in with the lifeguard and please swim near a lifeguard. Thank you. Have a great day.
Thank you, Chief. As I mentioned earlier, Chief Gartland's really been doing a lot of work over the last 10 days with our other cities' lifeguards to get to a policy that makes sense. To have to do this as one region, I think, is incredibly important. Thank you, Chief. Second topic today, an update on our efforts to protect homeless individuals. I had the opportunity earlier this morning to visit the shelter-to-home operation that's happening at our San Diego Convention Center. I got a chance to firsthand talk to not only the clients that are there, but all of our great providers that are doing incredible work. Alpha Project, VVSD, Father Joe's Villages. They're doing incredible work out there, and San Diegans should be very, very proud. There are a lot of expressions of gratefulness that there is that safe, clean location for folks to be with a lot of uncertainty surrounding this virus. We did a lot of discussion on what's working, how do we make sure that we're doing everything to help people. With that one ultimate goal, which is making sure that we have a laser focus on transitioning folks out of the convention center and into that place of their own. Had an hour-and-a-half discussion on that in terms of what's working, what are still some of the barriers, whether it's funding, whether it's other things. But I want to tell you, we talked about landlord engagement just yesterday. To have 2 landlords that responded already saying they want to join that program to help our homeless men and women and families, I think that speaks volumes for how quickly San Diegans are going to respond to this. Not only our providers that are out there, I want another shout to the County of San Diego public health nurses that are on site. All of the testing continues to happen on a daily basis. Everybody involved with our regional task force for the homeless, our housing commission. This is a large-scale effort, a large-scale initiative. And it was also great to see some of our city employees that are out there helping out, from our libraries, our Parks and Rec department, and our lifeguards, who are all out there are volunteering to help at this facility. It's an incredible organization of effort. Right now, when I was there, we have 1,003 individuals in the convention center. And over 200 of those were individuals who were living on the street just about a week ago. The testing does continue. It continues every day. No positive tests out of just under 200 thus far. As I've said in earlier updates, though, I do expect that we will have some positive tests at some point because these tests are being done to treat folks that are asymptomatic, which is no symptoms. Anyone with symptoms has already been removed, or if they develop symptoms, is removed into isolation. So we will continue all of those daily temperature checks and all of the strict sanitation protocols that are happening at the convention center every day. Thank you to this effort. It is working. Last topic, finally, our continued efforts to highlight San Diegans who are stepping up in this great time of need. We've all been focused on altering our daily lives and routines to try to obviously stop the spread of COVID-19. The same is true, of course, for many businesses and organizations. Today I want to highlight the continued efforts of the Spreckels Organ Society, along with their civic organist, Raul, and the curator, Dale. Before COVID became a household name, Raul would play a live concert every Sunday afternoon at the Spreckels Organ Pavilion in Balboa Park. These free concerts, of course, have been happening every week for decades, for the enjoyment of so many countless San Diegans and families. But as we, of course, are doing our safe and stay-at-home ordinance, Raul and Dale wanted to find a way that they could make sure that San Diegans could continue to take part in what had been a really unique tradition that families came to know and love. And so to keep the Sunday concerts alive, that the Spreckels Organ Society is now posting weekly pre-recorded concerts on their website for everyone to enjoy. They're working alongside our Park and Rec department and our police to make sure that all of the safety measures, of course, are happening at the Balboa Park and doing all that, which they are. So this Sunday at 2 p.m., you can go to spreckelsorgan.org to view Raul's 6th online concert, I'm told, the 6th one, and they'll continue to post a new concert each week. I will just tell you, if you haven't seen it, Raul's performances are amazing. He can play anything from Bach to Bohemian Rhapsody, so don't miss out. Thank you for continuing this tradition, Raul and Dale, and the Spreckles Organ Society for your passion. And really, I think most importantly, for keeping one of our most cherished traditions alive during this crisis. So if you see a San Diegan stepping up, please share it with us with the hashtag San Diego Steps Up. Thank you again for San Diego for your compliance. As I said before, day 2 of the neighborhood parks is working very, very well. The regional plan that we've outlined, I think, makes all of the sense with all of us working together as a region for our beaches and bays. We will get through this together as we continue to do the right thing. And we will get through this together as one region and as one city. And with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions from members of the media.
Today's first question comes from Anthony Pura with ABC 10 News.
Hello, Anthony.
Mayor, thank you for taking my call. I had a quick question for you here. Could you kind of go over what the phase 1 and 2 looks like for reopening the beaches again? And also what needs to take place before phase 2 can happen from phase 1? And will it be up for each city to make that call before you can make that transition?
No, good question. Thank you. And one of the hallmarks of the plan was let's do this together as all coastal cities. We want to send a very clear and consistent message because it's incredibly important, not just for those cities that have beaches, but obviously for the rest of the county. And so all of the specifics on phase 1 and phase 2 will be on the city's website. Will be out there regionally as well of our other cities. You can go to sandiego.gov to check that out. But again, the first gating issue is, do we get the clear? Have we met those standards that our county health officials have been out there talking about that allows us to first have that water access, surfing, etc. And then all the cities will move together in unison on the safe reopening of the beaches in conjunction with that in phase 1 and then phase 2. So we will, to answer I think your second part of your question, as cities and as county public health officials determine that phase 1 has been met, that is working, before we would go then to phase 2. But it will continue to be the change and the positive change that we all continue to hope for in terms of where we are in COVID-19.
And the next question comes from KUSI News. Is there an update on the coastal mayor's joint efforts to draw up plans to submit to the county in order to reopen beaches and water activities by May?
That was the focus, obviously, of today's news conference. Not only the efforts, but the specifics to lay it out. I think it was very important that it was down, and my fellow mayors agreed, but most importantly, it was the lifeguards. This is a plan that is driven by lifeguards to protect the public and to protect the folks that are out there. The date will be determined upon when we hit those milestones from our county public health officials. I think the good news is the plan is ready, it's been agreed upon by our lifeguards, and it's ready to go.
And the next question from KUSI News. What are the requirements for people going to the reopened parks, and what will enforcement look like?
Yeah, the requirements are posted in all the parks. And again, I want to thank San Diegans. Day 2 of the neighborhood parks, and as I said, people get it. People are doing the right thing. They are following the social distancing standards. We have park and rec staff that is out there, park monitors that are out there every single day, making sure folks are doing the right thing. We have our police officers driving by checking to make sure people are doing the right thing. And San Diegans are. In a lot of respects, I'm not surprised about that because this region, this city, has taken this very, very seriously since the very beginning. The reason we've had the progress that we've had is because San Diegans are doing the right thing. And I think San Diegans understand we don't want to give back those gains. We don't want to go backward. And so the response we've had the last couple of days at the neighborhood parks has been very important. We need to expect that to continue, and I'm going to keep reinforcing that needs to continue, particularly as the weather gets warmer. We need to continue to do the right thing. When we do that, we have the opportunities, as I said, to flatten that curve, and that will allow us to do other things outdoors, which all of us want to do as soon and as safely as we can do it. I think that's our last question today. Again, I want to thank all of my fellow mayors, coastal mayors, our lifeguards. Thanks San Diegans region-wide for doing what you're doing. Let's keep it up. And with that, I look forward to seeing everybody tomorrow. Thank you.